Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited. Okay. You ready? Okay. Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast that still has no name. No worries at all. We're working on it, and one day we'll find a name. But we have such a special guest today. One of the coolest people I know. Um, comes from California. Her name is Ezinne. Say hello.
Hello, I'm
Um,
Ezinne.
that's Ezinne. Yes. In the beanbag. Um, so she doesn't know her topic, of course. But I just wanted to say a quick word before. I am feeling super good about the podcast today because her topic is very relevant to how I've been feeling the last few days. And today I've had a really nice morning that I think sets me up very well to talk about the topic. So, Ezinne, your topic is rhythm, but in particular, like rhythm of life and more like pace, like the speed at which people operate in their life. So I would say, from the time I've spent with you, I think you operate with like a slow rhythm, like a slow pace approach to life. Um, and I admire that a lot. And that's something I want to have more of in my life. And the last few weeks have been so hectic. Um, so I've been really trying the last few days to slow everything down and get back into a slow rhythm. And this morning, I think I've done that really nicely. And this, I'm sure, will only make that even better. So, the first question is always super broad. And just so you know, I come up with the questions on the spot. It's not like I've prepared a bunch.
Okay.
So, always general first question. When you say, or when you hear rhythm, slow pace of life, quick pace of life, what do you think? Do you agree with my analysis that you operate on a slow pace of life? And what do you think pace of life is, and
Mm,
just your thoughts, really?
okay. Wow. That's such a good topic choice.
What topic choice?
That's not what I was expecting.
Okay.
Wait, also can I turn the fan off? I'm kind of
Oh my
cold.
goodness, please, yes, I'm
Okay.
so sorry. Turn it off, twist it away, whatever you want. Cool.
Okay. Okay, wow. I would say, well, I feel like you're also not like the first person to say that I like the way I move is kind of like slow and like calm. Cause I don't know, I feel like I've just kind of always been like that maybe. Um, cause like I don't know, I tend to like enjoy like what's it called? I don't know. I'm more of like the type of person who enjoys like the journey rather than the destination.
Okay.
And I feel like that's kind of corny, but it's true because I also enjoy like grounding myself in every moment.
Sure.
Because like a lot of experiences I've had have been like I don't know. I've had a lot of like once in a lifetime experiences, and whenever they're happening in the moment, um, I always like to like ground myself and be present because I know it'll probably never happen again, or like it won't. If it happens again, it won't like be the exact same dynamic. Um, but when you say like slow rhythm in life, hmm, that is so deep. I need to think about
Sure. No worries at all. I'll give you a
this.
minute to think about it.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna give my thoughts.
Yeah.
You said some wonderful, wonderful things that I have been thinking about again so much recently. Um, this idea of being present is over this year has become super clear to me as the biggest thing I need to work on, and also the key to just being content. Um, so I'm really happy that you brought it up, and I guess I'll say a couple ways on how I've been trying to stay present, and then I would love to hear your ways because you are clearly better at it. Um, so I guess for me, the main thing, easiest thing, the first thing I go to stay present is to get off the phone, like put my phone away. Um, because I guess being off the phone, being away from the virtual world, puts you in means you're more in the real world, and as a result, you're more present. Um, I think, well, yeah, I think that's the biggest part of um of how I've seen improvements in staying present. I would also say um that's the first step, but then going on walks, getting out into nature, and um listening to music helps a lot. I've recently started reading poetry, and I find that's really nice. Because poetry, I guess, because poetry is, you know, or the type of poetry I've been reading is quite brief and um, talks about nature and things like that. You're like actively trying to find appreciation in scarcity is maybe the right way to put it. Um, and I think that translates quite nicely to being present, because what I associate with being present is like having appreciation, having gratitude for everything. Um, because I don't know, I feel like in the past I've been too taken too much like value um, from like big events, social events, material things, whatever. But those are not sustainable, of course. So I find trying to appreciate everything and almost reduce everything to having like the same contribution to your life. It's really difficult to do, but and I'm nowhere near doing it. But for example, you've got to look at or try and look at brushing your teeth in the morning as having just as much value and doing just as much for you as a person as you know going to a party or seeing your favorite person and things like that. And if you can try and I think the word I've used in the or the phrase I've used in the past is like reduce the um, distance between those things as much as you can. I think that's a really nice way to stay present. Um, but what would you say? How do you go about staying present and grounding yourself in the moment?
Mm, wow, I like your insight. I would say I definitely agree with getting off social media,
Sure.
um, because I honestly, my goal in like 10 years is to not have any social media at all. I like to delete all my accounts. Um, but like right now, I like to deactivate my
Sure.
Instagram very frequently, because I don't know. I feel like I always experience the effects of like whenever I deactivate Instagram, I feel more satisfied with my own life and like happier in general, because I'm not constantly like comparing myself to everyone else's best moments.
Sure.
Um, and I also, whenever I hang out with my friends or just people who are important to me, I also try not to be on my phone, even if it's like unrelated or like I try not to be on my phone because I want them to know that like my full attention is on them and like involved in whatever we're doing in the present moment.
Hmm.
And I feel like my old school really emphasized that as well because we weren't allowed to have our phones, because I went to boarding school, you know
Yeah.
that, but we weren't allowed to have our phones in class. We always had to leave them in our dorms. So that structure makes me really value like what's it called, being away from the screen and
Hmm.
just like enjoying face to face connection. Um, and another way I like to stay grounded is through like mindfulness or meditation and prayer, because like all of those, I consider them all low key the same thing, but
Sure.
um, they really help you like silence the noise that is just like overthinking or worries or doubts that you might have, I feel like they really, those practices like praying or meditating just help you to calm down, like genuinely just relax and understand that like your troubles, the troubles that you're dealing with, the doubts that you have, like it's going to be okay, and it all of it's going to pass, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it also helps remind me that like there are bigger things. I don't know if that is making sense, but
Sure.
like my worries in comparison to like the, I don't know what's it called, the, what's, I forgot the word. I don't know. In comparison to like the bigger picture,
Sure.
my worries are like very minuscule. So it helps to remind me that it really is never that deep. But also like I don't know. There's it'll all be all right, I
Yeah.
guess.
Um, I agree with that a lot, and I know the topic for the podcast is rhythm and like pace of life. Um, and we're having a little tangent about staying present, but I think they're very much intertwined because I find when I'm at my most present, I think being present means you can operate on like a slow pace of life, but also you can operate on a fast pace of life and be present.
Mm.
Um, but I would say the fast pace of life being present comes more naturally or comes easier. Like, I guess when you're at a party and there's wonderful music playing and you're with all your friends, it's very easy to be present and you're operating on a fast pace of life. Um, but also, I guess we'll look at it from a biological lens, which I don't really have any authority to do. But you can't always operate on a fast pace of life because you get tired. So I would say probably it's more important to figure out how to be present and bring about that slow pace of life.
Mm.
And mindfulness, prayer, meditation is something I think I know. I like subconsciously I see the value to it, and I know um, how much it can do for me, but I just don't give it enough attention. Um, and a big like one of the main reasons for this podcast is to like have this space where we can learn from each other, and it's more a conversation than a podcast. Like the people up there watching are just watching. Like it's more for the two people in the room speaking. So I would love for you to talk a little bit more about meditation, etc., and like what time do you do it? How do you do it? Did you find it difficult to get into? Like expand a little bit more on that for me, please.
Okay, sure. Um well, I believe in God. So, my meditation always involves God and like praying and like setting intentions.
Sure.
So, basically, I sit down. I like to sit on the floor
Hmm.
like crisscross applesauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I close my eyes, and if it's like daytime, I'll get like something to wrap it around my eyes because I really like it to be very, very,
Okay.
very dark. That's just a personal preference, but
Sure.
you can just close your eyes. And then I imagine myself in a like in a dark room.
Hmm.
Like I imagine I'm entering a dark room, and God is like sort of a light in the dark room. Like he's, I imagine his like physical
Sure.
body, but like as the only visible thing in the dark room.
Sure.
And then I like approach in my mind. I would approach and then just like sit with him and basically spill out everything that's going on and everything
Sure.
that I'm worried about. Cuz a lot of the time too, the issue with me is that I haven't even really put to words
Yeah.
what I'm worried about. So it's kind of all just building up in my head. So I like to actually say it out loud, or not out loud, but like in my head. Um, and then I don't really know how to explain it, but it's sort of like the act of sitting in silence for a particular amount of time, doing nothing, and like having no external stimuli just makes me naturally relax.
Sure.
And also, like, feeling the presence of God makes me naturally relax. Um, and just like expressing those thoughts
And
makes me
do you
feel
do you speak out loud when you're doing it, or do you speak in your head?
yeah, I speak in my head.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
I don't really speak out loud. I feel like
Sure.
that's yeah.
Well,
Um, and then I sort of try to give myself advice like through what I think God would tell me.
okay.
And I honestly I believe like that's the voice of God, but if I'm trying to explain it to someone else, I would explain it like you give yourself advice based on like what what decision would lead to you being the happiest in that present moment. Um, and so that usually consists of like, try your best, or like, don't worry about the things you can't control, stuff like that.
Sure.
Um, that I already knew subconsciously, but I just needed like to wind down and like meditate to be able to actually internalize the message.
Sure.
So,
Thank you very much for
yeah.
speaking on that, and I think I will. I think I will try that.
You
Um,
should.
I should, yeah. Um, and it makes sense. Like again, if we think about being slow from like assigning it to like real world feelings, activities, stuff like that. If you are stressed about things or panicked, um, then that doesn't correlate to being slow because you're trying to actively find solutions. You're defensive, on your guard, and that makes it difficult. And so I think I definitely agree. You have to surrender, like as much as you can. Like both, both. First of all, that idea of like I'm not necessarily in control. Whatever happens will happen. But also that idea of if bad stuff does happen, you sort of just have to put like enough faith in the world that things will be okay. Um, and I spoke about this in the first ever episode of the podcast. Like I would say I go through cycles of that where sometimes I'm really good at just, living in the moment and what, something bad happens, I trust myself. I trust whoever enough to get through it. But then I go through other cycles where I'm stressed and, I'm just almost assuming the world is out to get me,
Mm.
which is not. But honestly, people are far too caught up in their own business to actively be trying to mm, come for you unless you've done something really bad. So, yes, I think these are all things to consider when trying to be slow and achieving a nice rhythm
Mm.
with the world. Um, I guess I'll ask you a question about yourself now and your slow approach to life. What would you say are the main things or activities that like complement your energy? That when you're doing them, you just feel super in the zone and you just are like, that is so Ezinne.
Oh, wow. Beautiful question. Hmm. I would say running.
Running,
Yeah,
nice.
running's one. The next one is Wait, I'll just talk about running first until I can
Sure.
think of another one. Um, I like running a lot because, well, it's a good form of exercise first. But second, even though it makes you tired, like physically tired,
Hmm.
I feel like it's very good at like making you forget in the moment like what the other things you have going on are. Like whenever I'm on a run, I'm so focused on, you know, my pacing or like my form or just like getting through the next few hundred meters that like I don't even have time to be thinking about whatever else is going on in my life. And I just really appreciate that. And I don't view it as a distraction, but I view it more as like a, I guess, like grounding mechanism, since that's like kind of what we're talking about.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just a very nice, nice way to go about things.
Sure.
Um, let me think of another one. Wait, repeat the question. I kind of
Just
forgot.
like things that when you're doing, you feel like you're in your element and just complement um, your energy, and you just strongly associate with yourself at your best.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Another thing is whenever I'm doing my hair,
Okay.
because my hair, as for many black women, or just like black people in general, is very tight or very closely associated with like my identity. And I have like a lot of, you know, childhood memories of like when my mom would do my hair, and it was kind of like the way we bonded. So just like culturally, it's very significant. And whenever I'm doing my hair, it's just like a very cathartic activity because it's like, oh, it's also a form of self care.
Sure.
Um,
I did an episode 2 days ago on self care with one of my friends. So that's cool that you
really,
bring that up.
I have to
Yeah.
tune in.
Sure.
But yeah, just like a form of self care, and also like you can't you can't rush the process because whenever I'm blow drying my hair, like blow drying my hair actually takes like 3 hours, and it's that time is only gonna get longer as my hair grows. So doing my hair is just like you can't rush it. You have to be patient. Sometimes your curls aren't gonna do what you want them to do, but you can't get mad at that, and you can't really control it either. So it's just kind of one of those things you have to deal with, and I feel like that is a really great like way to slow down
Sure.
because it takes forever and you just have to have patience. What's the next? Maybe I would say singing as well.
Okay.
Because I told you I had a vocal recital like 2 days ago,
Yeah. How did that go?
but it went well.
And what is a vocal recital? It's
Oh,
just like a singing practice.
yeah, it's like a bunch of people. We all take voice lessons, and so it was kind of like our culminating like exposition, I guess.
Sure.
We all sang like 2 songs, 2 to 3 songs. It went well. I
Okay.
forgot the words. When we were practicing, like before we had an audience, we were all practicing our songs individually, and I forgot the words for one of my songs. That was kind of awkward, but back to like I feel like singing is I would consider it like a skill, of course, but it's also something that I feel like I have a lot to grow in, and I
Sure.
feel like having a lot of room to grow in some activity just makes it so that whenever you're doing the activity, you're like um you're very in the zone and like paying attention to every single detail because you want to get it right, you know?
Sure.
And I feel like that, like the act of like making sure, oh, is that note accurate? Like, am I flat? Is that the right pitch? Like, are we on the right, you know?
Sure.
Um, I feel like it helps it helps me slow down because you can't rush that type. You can't rush perfection if that's your goal, which
Sure.
is always mine. Not always, just like typically.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much again. Um, I will say some of mine, which I think are really complement Ollie and things that I just find a lot of um, peace and contentment in. Um, the first one, I've got quite a few. Um, First one, I would say, is candles. If there are candles on, and preferably with like no other light, just candlelight, I feel very at peace, and I almost feel like I'm not in the room because the candles make it so dark. I'm not even there. I'm just looking at the candles and looking in front of me and around, and I think that is quite liberating in a way. The next one, on the topic of lights, um, I call them Dickensian lamps. They are like oil lamps. I think there's a couple in Riverside Park. There's quite a lot in London. I love to just go stand beneath one and pretend I'm like a 15th century pickpocket. And I say pickpocket because I read Oliver Twist recently. But I love to just think I'm a shady figure. The world doesn't really love me, but this lamp does. Um, and I find, yeah, I'm just quite a cool version of myself when I'm doing that. Next one, um, whenever my dad is in a dressing gown. Do you know what a dressing gown is?
No.
It's like you guys would call it a robe, like a bathrobe.
Oh, okay.
Um, like the best memories of my childhood, Tim, my dad, Big Tim, um, always Sunday, Saturday morning, he would be um, in his dressing gown, and he was just like hugging him was the best thing in the world because you don't know where he starts, where the dressing gown stops. Da, da, da. He always smells so good. You just hug him, and it's so lovely. And those are the times when I was like at my slowest, when I could just sit, watch football with him. He'd be in his dressing gown, and him being in his dressing gown, because my dad's really quite a like he always has so much going on. Partly because he puts that responsibility on himself. Like he will go to the shop and get whatever, just because like my little brother will say he sort of likes eggs. He'll go and buy 50 eggs and come back. So he's always like on his toes trying to accommodate for us. So when he's in his dressing gown, it's like a declaration of I'm not going anywhere. Like I'm at if he's at peace and tranquil, then there's no excuse for the rest of us not to be, if that makes sense. Um, so that's really nice. And then I guess like a prolonged one or like a activity. Um, I like being in bookstores a lot, just because they always smell so brilliant. Um, Especially bookstores where you can like go into a basement. And I'm talking about Waterstones on King's Road in London. Um, the nearest Waterstones to me, and I'm big. This will be controversial in the book world. Like I know we're all for independent bookstores, and I'm completely on that. We hate capitalism. We hate all of that business. But Waterstones, which is like Barnes and Noble UK wise,
Okay.
they have every book. Like if I need a book, sometimes it's a bit risky to go to an independent bookstore because it may not have it. But also, that's part of living a slow pace, being present. Because if I go, it doesn't have it, I shouldn't complain. I should take that risk because I get the opportunity to then go to somewhere else and find it.
Right.
But yes, so Waterstones in the basement, they have these 4 leather chairs. I love to just pick up a bunch of books, sit and read them. And there's a lot of old people in that area of London. And I always get really lovely like compliments because I guess it's not what they would expect to see because I wear quite silly clothes sometimes, have like a silly haircut, have stuff on my teeth, earring, whatever. When they see me sitting there reading, often, like honestly, more often than not, they'll come up and they'll go, "Wow, explain this." Um, and I mean, you get your odd like dirty look, whatever, but that's I think they're lovely. So I really like that, and I always leave Waterstone's basement with a smile on my face, and just grateful for books, grateful for people, and always a walk and walking with music. Sampha in particular,
Mm.
um, so brilliant and really slows me down. Um, that was honestly one of my favorite bits of the podcast recorded so far.
What was?
Like the last 5-10 minutes when you were speaking and I was speaking was probably out of all the podcasts I've recorded my favorite bit,
Mm.
which is really lovely. Um, I was going to actually let's do it. Let's not be scared of bad stuff.
Okay.
I was gonna ask like what you think interferes with your like being slow, being present, that sort of stuff.
Mm.
And then I was like, oh no, we've just talked about stuff so lovely. Why would we focus on the negative? But no, let's do it. The
Okay.
last stuff was so brilliant, couldn't possibly be corrupted by this negative stuff. So what would you say interferes with your peacefulness, your quietness?
Okay. Okay. I would say it's like, wait, no, I need to think about this.
Sure.
What interferes with my slow rhythm?
Yeah, I can go first if you want.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, so a few things that come to mind. If I choose the wrong clothes in hot weather, and I'm basically saying like sweating and being too hot, I find that so horrendous. And it's just constantly nagging me, being like, nope, you can't be content because now you're too hot. Da, da, da. So that's the first one. Second one, getting drunk is not pleasant. And it's happened too much this semester.
Mm.
And so I'm really going to make an effort to step away from that. I find, honestly, not. I think I can have just as fun a time without it. And I guess that's not the case for everyone, but I do believe I can. And just waking up the day after, not knowing what. Well, for the first time ever recently, I got like hangxiety in quotation marks. I don't really like that word, but just the idea of like, oh my goodness, what could I have possibly said to people last night? To the extent where I'm like texting people to get lunch just to know I'm still in their good book.
Bruh.
So I think that is so horrible, and I need to stop that. And it's good we've identified it, and like that. I like to have clean hands. Like if I can like visibly see that my hands have dirt on them or something, that is not nice because I think I really like to feel as if my body is one. Like I tie my shoelaces really tight. So like so my foot and my shoe become one, if that makes sense. So like I don't want to feel my foot bouncing around in my shoe. No, but it's quite true, isn't it? Like so I like to do that and feel like my body's one. So when I have dirty hands, I have to be conscious, like don't touch your face, don't touch your mouth because you get ill, whatever. And that's obviously like my body not being connected to itself. Um, so so yes, I would say that. If I could think of one more that disrupts that energy, um, maybe no. I think I've listed
Okay.
good
I
stuff.
thought
Yeah,
of one.
please go.
I would say not not planning. Like
Okay,
I like to have a plan. Just like day to day. Cuz I do enjoy being spontaneous, but I also think sometimes I need a bit of structure.
sure.
So like especially when I'm like making plans with other people, and I don't know, I just don't like when it's like unclear what's going, like what exactly we're doing, you know.
Sure.
And I was talking to someone about this the other day, but when, okay, so if I'm like, if I plan to hang out with someone, so for example, if I text my friend and I'm like, hey, do you want to do something, and we agree what time and we agree where, and then the date approaches and like they invited someone else,
Oh, oh, that's not pleasant.
like without like, I don't know, not to say like without asking my permission, like
Sure.
that sounds like a tyrant, but I don't know, that just really threw, that really, that really gets me. And then if the plans of what we're doing change, that's, wow,
Yeah.
that'll really, that really throws me off.
Sure.
And I
And as
don't
it
like,
should, I think.
yeah, but I don't like that it does.
Okay.
But because I don't know, I feel like I should learn to pivot and not be such a,
Yeah.
you know, so stuck up about that type of stuff. But
Sure. I wonder what my version of that is, because I think if somebody changes the plans,
yeah,
I can actually get on board with it.
really.
And if an extra person gets invited, if the person's like a bit, we're not going to be negative on this podcast, but if they're just not my sort of person,
Mm-hmm.
actually, well, if they're not my sort of person, then maybe initially I'm like, ah, but then I'm also like, if they're not my sort of person, I probably haven't spent time with them in like a close environment with
Yes.
somebody else I really like. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm okay at looking at like the, wow, maybe I'll see a different side. Maybe I could
Yeah.
get closer to this person.
Yeah. Wait, that's the advice my friend gave me one time.
Really?
Yeah, he said
That's
that
good.
exactly. But um I'm just very particular and like intentional with like who I reach out to. So like if I reach out to someone, like I reached out to person A, not person A and B and C.
Sure. Yeah, I get you.
But I think I just like spending time with people like individually. So group,
Hmm.
I
Um,
don't know.
yeah, for sure. I guess what I would ask next is, would you say, do you have any siblings?
Hmm.
What are your siblings?
I have one older brother.
Older brother.
Hmm.
Okay. Are you similar? Do you guys have a similar approach to life and like energies and that stuff, or are you different?
Mm, we're quite similar, I'd say, but we're so different at the same time. Like, I think we're similar because we're close in age. We're like a year and 6 months apart.
Okay.
And so we kind of grew up the same way.
Sure.
Um, but I think he has the same sort of like relaxed approach to things where he's like, okay, I'll do this. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. I think he also has that same approach. But maybe where we differ is like, I think he might enjoy like more high energy things more than
Sure.
I do.
Sure.
But it's a nice balance though. Cuz whenever we hang, like when we go home and we hang out, it's like a nice, you know, balance, I guess.
Sure. Um. Well, I guess. Well, I'm okay. This has only ever happened once before, but I need to pee.
Okay.
But I fear my sweet mate is in the bathroom, so I'm just gonna look.
Okay.
They are in the bathroom, but I don't know if they've just got out the shower, about to get in the shower. So let me knock.
Okay.
Which I hate. No, I'm not gonna knock. I hate doing that because it's my biggest pet peeve ever. If I'm
Really?
if I'm in the bathroom and some person knocks, shut up, bro. Like, you can wait 2 minutes. So I'm gonna wait. Okay. Well, to build off what you just said, um, you said your brother likes doing high energy stuff more than
Mhm.
you. Is
Just like
there it?
this much.
Pardon?
Just like a little bit
Sure.
more. Yeah.
Is there any high energy stuff you like doing, and if so, what is it?
Ooh. Okay. I think, for example, I one of my goals is to go bungee jumping. Do you know what that is?
Nice.
You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
I want to go bungee jumping so bad,
Okay.
but I'm not there yet.
Sure.
But once I get there and the opportunity arises, I will take
That's
it.
going to be Graydon, who you do know from Frontiers of Science.
Oh, Graydon.
Hey, we're podcasting right now. Say hi to Ezinne. You know her from Frontiers.
Hi, Graydon.
How you doing?
How are you?
Is someone in the bathroom?
Yes, he is. No, he's not.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pee. I'll be back in 1 second. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
I
You just wake up.
I don't want. No, I have morning already. I had a long night. Yeah. Yes, that was it. Watching the TV show.
It's just me now, guys. I think I'll take over. Okay, I'll give my review on this tea. He got me hibiscus tea, I think. Let me sip it. It tastes really good. It tastes like hibiscus, as expected. And it's unsweetened, but it doesn't really need honey. I typically put honey in my tea. I know some of you might prefer sugar, but I like honey. Oh, he's back.
Sorry that the most chaotic interruption we've ever had comes in the podcast about being slow, but
It's okay.
an excuse to clean my hands, everyone. That's actually one of them.
Perfect.
So please go ahead. I'm so sorry. Bungee jumping.
Oh yes, I want to go bungee jumping. And I also love outdoorsy things. But low-key, I think outdoorsy activities are a mix of high energy and low energy, because like high energy in the sense that you can get a lot of adrenaline. For example, like if you're on a hike and maybe you're like reaching a really high summit, maybe that can give you some adrenaline because the view is nice, or like there's some sort of risk there. But it's also low energy because hiking is like a very repetitive act where you just like step, 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 like you're just walking up a mountain.
Sure.
So I really like that, and I also like camping a lot. Not a lot. I like camping,
Sure.
not to any particular extent, but um, I also love riding horses. You're allergic to horses, right?
I am allergic to horses.
That is so unfortunate.
Really?
Yes. Oh my! I can't believe that.
Well, so I'm allergic to cats as well, and
Oh.
they get the main bulk of my wrath. Like cats, I cannot stand cats.
That is
Just because they have had me on my knees, sneezing, red eyes,
right.
itching my neck, all of
Right.
that. So horses actually go under the radar a little bit.
Yes.
Um,
Wait, have you ever like been near a horse?
yeah, I've ridden a horse, I think,
You
and I
have.
just sneezed my ass off, so I stopped.
Oh,
But my little brother
man.
used to ride horses.
You know, riding a horse. Let me paint this picture for you.
Okay, paint it.
Okay. Like there you just have it's just you and your horse and this long trail of land. When you're like not galloping, but when you're like loping really, really fast on a horse through just like a long stretch of land is genuinely, I can't compare the feeling to anything.
Okay.
I would say what came close for me one time was like if you're riding a bike downhill and it's just like very like you don't have to do anything, you're just riding like because
Sure.
gravity's just like
Sure.
down. That comes like maybe like this close, not even though.
Yeah.
But oh my days.
Okay. Well, I'll
It's
definitely do that then.
yeah, you literally should. And like the wind is blowing through your hair. Like you just feel so free.
Sure.
And the horse, like even the horse's mane is blowing this way, that way
Yes.
through the wind. I mean, just nothing gets better.
I feel like what I should maybe be in my first step is I feel like I could run with wild horses.
Okay.
In the sense that I think if I found a group of them in like a moor somewhere, I think I'd be accepted quite quickly.
Yes, yes.
Um,
They might outrun you though.
they might no, but they wouldn't. They'd understand,
Right.
and they'd canter beside me.
They can't.
They'd canter beside me. So I think that would be my first. So I do have an appreciation for horses. I think they're super beautiful, um, and like wild horses, I can so see myself being with. Um, but down the line, I'll definitely ride a horse. Just
You have to.
would you say along? Where would you say along a beach, through a forest? What? Because a beach, like you see these clips in whatever movies, adverts
Yeah.
of people like riding horses along beaches. That always feels a bit like doesn't make sense to me because
Yeah.
horses don't belong on a beach.
Yeah, they don't belong on
Yeah.
the beach. I would say if you can find a forest or some sort of like natural outdoors, obviously outdoors, but like somewhere with dirt and trees.
Sure. Okay. Well, keep it in mind. Um, I'll give my opinion quickly and then move into the final few questions. Um, my, I think I don't know whether I'm naturally like a high energy person or a low energy person. I think I'm probably naturally a high energy person. But in previous years, I've realized the importance of having a low energy side as well. And if anything, leaning into that low energy side more. Um, so high energy, watching football, I will act like a goodness me. I will act like a bloody like there's a volcano beneath my feet when Manchester United score. I will be leaping up and down. I'll be just spewing gibberish, dancing. Like I become possessed in the best possible way when Manchester United are playing football. Um, and I think things like that, that's quite high energy. With my friends, I tend to be quite high energy. I wonder what other parts of me. Like I enjoy like adrenaline. As a kid, I was always like the first. Like it made no sense to me not to jump off the highest diving board or go down the water slide in a really dangerous way and like stuff like that. Over the years, that's definitely like dimmed down a lot. And I'm more. Well, I guess I'm more slow now, but I think inherently fast, but trying to also foster the slow side because it can give you so much. So final few questions, I guess. I'll ask you. Oh wait, no, because this question sort of merges with the final question, so maybe I won't ask it. What else can I ask? Okay, no. So I normally ask this as the final question, but I think I'll ask it now, and if I can think of another question. Okay, no. Flip that, whatever it's called. Scrap that. What sort of media, books, YouTube videos, YouTube channels, songs, movies, TV series, what complements your slow energy and yeah, that you just like a lot?
Well, you put me on to that book.
Yes, I did the alley oop for this question. I was hoping you'd say that. Caleb Azuma Nelson.
Yes.
My brother. Please go.
Your favorite author.
Yeah.
I see it on your wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that book, man, I haven't even finished it. I'm like 30 pages away. But the nature of the book itself is it has like a slow burn trope about it.
Yes.
Yeah. And the way he writes is I'm just so fascinated by it because he describes like even the most like the small details that you would like typically overlook when you're like observing a situation or a scene. And I like that the author describes everything so you can really feel like almost like you're there or like almost like you're observing what's happening. but I really enjoyed it. It was a quick read because of how good he writes.
Sure.
But what do you think? I know you're
Oh my goodness, what do I think? About time you asked. So first of all, Small World is actually part of the reason why I got the topic of rhythm for Ezinne,
Oh.
because I'm rereading it as well at the moment. I'm only rereading it to myself out loud though. So I got the, yeah, because it mentions rhythm quite a lot, and Caleb Azuma Nelson's rhythm of writing is like literally what I've been talking about. Like for me that's like the ideal slow paced, complemented by like parties and things like that, and dancing and high paced music, but like the constant slow burning like tranquility that comes with the way he writes,
Mhm.
And reading it and mentioning rhythm and stuff like that, and obviously knowing I'd recommended you Small Worlds, and I think I probably recommended you Small Worlds knowing like, so I probably made the connection in my brain, the way he writes seems like Ezinne, and then thinking of the podcast, I was like, Ezinne seems like Small Worlds, and then Small Worlds was like, okay, talk about rhythm. So yes, I think like for me this summer, the only goal is to be slow and to be so present. I want to be on my phone for maybe like a cumulative 4 hours over the whole summer, which probably won't happen, but that's obscenely low.
Yeah.
4 hours, that's an hour a month.
Wow.
But just gonna be in London, which is where Small Worlds is sat. Like I will be using that as a playbook every morning. Read a section, get my mind right, get my mind slow. So Small World is definitely the main media that like I've taken the blueprint for how to be, the template for how to be slow, and in a really nice way. No, a couple others I would say. There's a YouTube channel which I've been watching recently called Cam Does It. Are you kidding?
Wait.
No, she's Australian.
Oh wait,
Okay.
it's a she. Just
It's
kidding.
a she. Yeah, it's a she.
Just kidding.
Oh, you okay? Fine. But yeah, really brilliant. Quite long videos, and she's just very articulate about being present, and she speaks about it a lot. So I'm new to her channel, but it's really lovely. Anything else? Maybe could I recommend a music person? I'll try and not do Sampha because I always do Sampha. No, I can't think of anyone else that would. Yeah, no, not right now. So I guess that's the media I would say. I cut you off after S'mores. Do you have any other forms?
Oh, let me see. Of course, I have to mention Toni Morrison.
Yes. Any Toni Morrison
course.
interview. That's what I would say. But,
Yeah.
okay.
I haven't watched any of her interviews, but I should, because all of her books are very well written, and like,
Sure.
I don't know, she has a way of capturing like Black life and just specific topics in a way that really speaks to me, I'd say.
Sure.
I'm seeing your collection down here.
Yeah.
That's great. It's going missing.
Yeah, Toni. I think hearing her speak is, like I think she's one of the wisest people ever.
Yeah.
And hearing her speak with such gentleness and tenderness and grace about books which can have like really quite a lot of violence in, and having seen a lot of violence in her lifetime, I think it's one of the most inspiring and like empowering things ever. It's like if she can talk in such a sensitive way, why can't everyone else? So yeah, I've unbelievable, two unbelievable suggestions from you, hasn't it? But I guess I'll go to the final question now.
Okay.
At the end of the podcast, I always like to ask a question that gives the guest the opportunity to give somebody else their flowers. Basically, shout them out.
Oh.
And always try for it to be like it's always the same sort of question, but obviously different topics, so the question's different. Who would you say, I don't have to know them, the guests don't have to know them, can be whoever, who would you say you really admire their energy and you think does a really good job at like living a slow paced life or living a fast paced life, just have are really in tune with their rhythm with the world? And you can be more than one person if you want, but
Okay. Okay. I have this friend from home. I wish you knew her,
okay.
but her name's Elizabeth. And first of all, she's so smart. Like, genuinely one of the smartest people I know. Because every time we have a conversation, I always learn something new about like the most random subject ever. Like, I don't know, her brain is so crazy. She's able to make connections to like disciplines that I didn't even know not existed, but like disciplines that I wouldn't even have thought of.
Sure.
Um and she's always using these big words. Like she knows a lot of big words. I don't know, it's kind of freaky. But I also really admire her energy, her integrity, her work ethic. She's very hardworking, and she hasn't. I also think like another reason why I admire her so much is because like she hasn't had like the easiest life, like in comparison to a lot of people I know. And when a lot of like stuff was happening for her and I was like supporting her, her mindset was never like she never really had like a victim mindset, or she never had like a negative um like a negative mindset. She always tried to like look on the bright side and remember that like there are still things that she has to be grateful for. And I just really appreciate that about her, because she always reminds me to like be grateful for everything, because like my worst day is probably someone's best day. Like someone's
Sure.
wish, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
someone's wishing that they could have that. So, and just energetically, I mean, she's so funny. And I was just on FaceTime with her yesterday, but she's so funny and like grounding. And she's one of those people that you can be silly with, but also very serious and like get advice from, or just like wisdom whenever you need. Um, I need to say more about this girl. Like I actually love her so much. Um, yeah, just the way she carries herself is so mature.
Nice.
She's so mature and so emotionally intelligent.
Wonderful.
I literally.
Elizabeth, you sound so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep doing your thing.
Keep
Keep being brilliant.
keep being brilliant.
So for me, I'd say two people. The first one is I had a professor last semester called Jafari Allen. I pinpoint him because he was really spectacular at being quiet. And I don't mean like not talking, I mean talking in such a like gentle tone, a bit like how Toni Morrison speaks in her interviews. No matter what was happening, no matter how intense the class discussion got, or after Donald Trump got elected and it was a dreadful day, he always knew when to just take up this tone that was so quiet and slow and got everyone's attention and made everyone feel so comfortable and supported. I think that's how I felt. So I think that's super super brilliant, and it's definitely something I've consciously tried to do more. It's just like slow down your speaking and take a quieter tone, because you don't need to shout all the time. And sometimes it's so brilliant to shout, best thing ever to shout, but and I mean shout in like a excited way, not shout in an angry way. But yeah, just I admired a lot how he communicated, and I think it was very in line with being slow and having a nice energy. Um, Second person is my uncle. His birth name is Simon, but me and my brother call him Steve. I think it's because my brother, when we were young, my little brother like didn't know his name
Oh.
and thought his name was Steve, and
Gotcha.
it just stuck ever since. So Steve is like Steve could be the most spiritually slow, cool person ever. I think if he had the right materials from day one. Like he's like 67 now. He is an old ass man. He's kind of fat, and he would love me saying all of that. He like worked as like a car mechanic his whole life. But he's still, despite all of that, he's still so like switched on and in tune with that stuff. Like he's not intense at all. He's always wants to make a joke. But the thing for me which I've noticed is he is like so supportive. I've never not once seen him like when somebody's messed up or somebody's upset or whatever, he is perfect at creating a space of just like knowing it's okay. And he's there, he's like, hey, we're human beings. He doesn't say this, but he says something along these lines. He's like, hey, we're human beings, we're gonna mess up, we're gonna do whatever, would you like a hug? And it's just really such a brilliant space to be in, and makes, well, I think it's like, well, it allows you to be slow, and it allows you to forgive yourself and to just be comfortable with what's happening, because it's the truth. That's how everyone should react. We are just human, we're all going to make mistakes. So if Steve had read books from day one, he'd probably be in the same conversation as Socrates, but he didn't, and I love that he didn't, because that means only I and my brother and my family get Steve and nobody else does. So shout out Steve, shout out Jafari Allen, shout out Elizabeth.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say before I close off?
I think you had a pretty good last word.
Okay, thank you very much. I have actually had the most wonderful time. This has been so brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah, super grateful that you came here. Super grateful that you let me go on my walk this morning.
Of course.
Super grateful that you said yes to having tea. That's a note for any future guests and past guests. Accept the tea when you get offered it. I'm not going to poison it. But yeah, thank you so much for coming. A brilliant way to close off the semester, I think, and go into summer with that small world's mindset.
Yes.
Telling it. And we spoke about Toni Morrison interviews, as they listen to Caleb Ezinne Nelson interviews. There aren't many out there, but listen to them.
I will.
They're perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. I will see you so soon. Bye-bye.